Guys, it's Ben with Vassar Village Salvage LLC, full-time eBay power seller, and full-time employee, I guess full-time company. So here showing you on my journey what I do and how I do it and how I got here. Maybe you guys can give me some tips. Maybe you can just show me that this is just an old idea. I know it's hard to believe that I was doing almost 6 figures a year on a LaserJet printer, and then I finally got my first label printer, and I was like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? I don't care if you sell 5 items a week or 5,000 items a week, you need to get a label printer. Like, I knew I just was dragging my butt. I complained a lot about some big shipment issues. Monday would hit and I got 50 items to mail out by myself, Frankenstein boxes, freight, whatever. And it's overwhelming, quite literally doing it for 12 hours on every Monday, and it's exhausting and still not getting it all the way done. Growing with size with an employee and realizing, like, holy crap, you boost the amount of items you're selling, so now all of a sudden one area is exceeding and the other area is still, all right, we don't have anyone to do that job but Ben, which, I'm just a small company, so working on trying to figure out the quirks of everything. So it's a lot of paces fast, and I said I'd kind of want to do it slow, but I feel like I'm not doing it slow, and I don't do anything slow. So the whole goal of getting out of my dining room area here and getting several $100 items off of my kitchen table and my business paperwork out of my house and into a filing cabinet and getting into the warehouse officially. It is winter time here in Maine, officially not winter time, but we've had a few snow storms, I guess. So, like, for the rest of you people in South Carolina, you're probably good until January, and then it's 55 degrees. That's not the case in Maine. The moment you hit October, it's already freezing. You have to get your firewood in, blah 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 blah. But yeah, we need to get the eBay junk out of my personal house and into the warehouse I built specifically for eBay. So that's just a quarter of my orders this morning. Yeah, we need to get this stuff out of here. And I need to kind of get my office done, I guess, so to speak, or like a packaging, shipping area. We've moved the warehouse around so many times, it's still a mess, and I'll take you out there in a few minutes to show you. We need to get that dead pile of unlisted stuff out of the house. The Christmas tree is going to go there, according to Mrs. Vosser. So, yeah, we got to get these things done and move forward. And mind you, I'm going to correct you there for a second. Correct myself. That dead pile is mostly listed. It's just a lot of items from estate sale. I'm kind of like, is it worth selling? Is it not? So we probably have 10 teacups over there from 1930s. Is it worth selling? Is it not? So come on with me out to the warehouse and I'll show you some progress. Ooh, before we do that, I know my mind's like a squirrel. Squirrel? I can't focus. So I did go to a yard sale. I did some sourcing this weekend. I haven't been doing much sourcing as far as apparel and kind of home goods, and maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I know quarter 4 is winding up, and there's a few theories about quarter 4 I have, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to get on the bandwagon of stuff, we got a list. To be honest, I think quarter 4 is more impacted this year with COVID and stuff and all that. So I think people being locked in their homes, of course they're going to buy more coffee on eBay. It makes sense. It's simple logic. I don't think Christmas and all the holidays and Thanksgiving is really that much of a huge impact of eBay sales. Though Business Insider and Wall Street Journal wrote a lot about the falsehood of quarter 4, and I don't know. We're not going to get into logistics of business, but anyway, look at my cool finds. I know, Dave Ramsey. Well, not an entire fan of Dave Ramsey. Speaking of business logistics and gurus. A whole bunch of school books. They're really dated, but they still have some value. There's a cat. I picked up the cat at the yard sale. It was 99 cents. They took my best offer of 45 cents. So, yeah, we got some school books. We got some cool bog boots. Whole bunch more books. I actually sold a few books. This isn't how you're supposed to treat your inventory. So I did sell some. I like books. I kind of go back and forth with books. They're not a ton of profit. It quite literally takes me 45 seconds to list a book with a stock photo, so I can just hit the ISBN number and boom. I don't know if it's ISBN. Did I say that? Yeah, I probably said it wrong. I can just snapshot the barcode and get them listed and, get a couple of dollar profit. And my hopes is to find that one book where I can get $40 profit and, be moving forward. The Bog Boots, definitely a huge purchase. Well, a huge kind of cool score, not a huge purchase. I'll show you a huge purchase outside. But yeah, so it was just kind of a quick indoor yard sale. A lot of people are selling, a lot of rotation in the real estate market. So a lot more yard sales. And it is November. This one was inside. They're just kind of desperate, and desperate yard sales are awesome. So, we did pay a little more money than I'd like to say for that. So, it's probably about $5,000 worth of nursing books 10 years ago. It doesn't mean they're worth that now. I already went through a couple of them. But yeah. So let's move on out to Let's move on out to the eBay warehouse, and I'll show you what's going on. So again, it's still kind of a hot dumpster fire out here. A little more organized. I love how that's like my punchline for almost every video so far. So we're a little more organized. This table's a mess. We're not going to show you that. So we just kind of like, you clean one side, and then you have to move everything over there, and that side's not clean. And then we have wood pallets. We don't know where to bring them. We have the huge daylight that's coming over the garage door, and we're kind of coming to the point where it's like, all right, it is winter. I need to get my head out of my rectum and figure out, I got to get the rest of this insulated. And with building material shortages, again, going back to that and just kind of dragging my butt and trying to get things every day is like my motto is to get things listed, sold. Well, if we don't have a comfortable work environment, I guess all of it's going to be for vain. So, so it's kind of a hot dumpster fire. So you can take 5 seconds to, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's electrical wine. It's just dangling there. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm certified, guys. I'm really not. So, if you want to know what I sell, you can take 5 seconds and just kind of scroll. Oh, there's a 671 supercharger. I just got that. Super awesome find. Paid $20 for it. It's got a cracked rear case. It's about a $400 or $500 item with the crack. So I paid $20 for it. It is a little seized up. So I'm definitely excited about that. Really, we've had a lot of really nice high end, several $100 items. So, we're just kind of waiting to see sales pick up. Leading back to my kind of overall slouch, I suppose. So when I first hired our full-time employee, our sales just exploded. Quite literally, everything that I could never list before, couldn't list fast enough, it was becoming a dream, and then it got to the point where I could list when I was free, had free time. We've built our listings up to, now we're up to 600. We can consistently stay at 600, which if you watch my last video, it was just 500. So if you can kind of consistently get to, I realized increasing my prices. So if I want to control how fast we're selling and what we're selling, I can increase the prices kind of and accept a lot, increase my standards so I don't have as much of fast sales. So if I want to pick up sales and I feel we're in a comfortable spot, I can always change that, which is wonderful. Which I felt like we kind of needed to pause a little bit because we were selling so fast, which isn't a bad thing. But, my philosophy has always been volume. Why sit there and hold on to this stuff for the most money? Those people, I don't know how they make money, but Sam Walton once said, is volume. Well, he didn't once say that. I was summing it up, his whole book that he wrote. But it's volume. It's hands down volume. If you're paying $1 for an item and they're consistently selling, slowly selling at $140, wouldn't you want to list that item at $100? You got $1 into it, So it's simple logic to me. But sometimes if your whole eBay inventory on a weekend is clearing out and you're going so fast and you can't keep up, sometimes you can control those margins. So I would just like to say, I'm not going to talk politics, can't stand politics, but with the election surfacing and stuff, our whole sales just kind of went, And it's not just me. It seems like it's everybody. There's a lot of people, a lot of groups, a lot of blogs talking about the deadness of, when uncertain times are going on, people are kind of slowing down on buying. So we had our slowest day last Monday, at $68 since, July. Consistently, we've averaged a lot of money a day, and that was, not the case. And we've, kind of taken off from that, to back to kind of a couple $100 a day. I got overhead. I have a certain criteria I need to kind of stay at and meet. Going back to, need to juggle finances with an employee. Now I have somebody I have to worry about. It's not just me. Have savings built up, things like that, big company stuff, or just subjectable common sense. But so all these things are kind of worrisome. Sales are starting to slowly pick up. I just sold a $200 Allison ECM this morning. It made me really happy. A few books at, $4 making $1 profit. It's kind of like, whatever. When I first hired the employee, it was insane. I thought, we were going to buy a Learjet, the following month. But I was worried about the flatlining. Not so much the flatlining, but, it's kind of dead waters, and a more specific name for it in business. But, I think the election had a lot to do with kind of the slowness. But when I hired him, we had 2 weeks where we did a little over 5,000 or around 5,000 a week, which, you're like, holy crap, there's 52 weeks in a year times 5, and you're like, and I got some huge eBay bills. I was looking at my shipping account and how much I was paying for that, and we were spending, I don't know, $4,000 a month in shipping. Like, we were doing a lot of numbers, a lot of volume. Things were just flying off the shelf, and then I think it just kind of, and what do I sell? I sell car parts, I sell antiques, I sell chainsaws, I sell anything to do with car parts. Lately, I've been kind of shifting away from car parts because I do not like to stay in one category, too long. Also, my supplier for the car parts that I've been going to and talking about is kind of tapering off. It's kind of slowing down a little bit. It is wintertime. I was anticipating this. So I've been recently moving towards higher end diesel parts. There's a lot of diesel parts out there that are very small that cost a lot of money. So I want to move to more what I call long-term items. I've spoken about long-term items, stuff that's going to take a while to sell, but if they do sell, huge profit. Wow, my lights do work. But right here, this is a 6.2 diesel injector pump. Refurbished, it cost about almost $1,000. I picked this up for $20. $20 seems to be my mark that week. Currently it's listed untested for $300. I felt that was a fair price for something I can't really vouch for. We have a lot more kind of long-term items too. We've done a lot of swapping, trading too, because things have been slow as far as sourcing. I mean, slow, not at the normal pace. So we've been getting some chainsaws. Currently, they're supposed to be on the shelf and all kind of put back together, but we've been moving, cleaning, swapping. This is my personal chainsaw, so no, it's not for sale, but the rest of them are. And they're really nice chainsaws. They're wood bosses, steels, some nicer stuff. And going back to controlling my inventory, those are priced at a little more higher than they're probably worth, just to kind of stop selling things so fast and just kind of breathe. So I'm really not worried about the inventory that we have and the money that we don't really so much have reflected with a kind of a die-off period with election. But we're not totally worried about that, just because I feel like I could go in there and select a price that would probably sell today. So I always have that kind of in the back of my mind as kind of like a Hail Mary. So again, going back to just, we are kind of a hot dumpster fire mess, and we need to clean this mess up. We're still kind of with the garage door. We got our door all secured. It's all there. We got the plastic up there. The plastic did a horrible job. We did have a pellet stove in there. You can kind of see the hole that used to be there. I paid $100 for a New England pellet stove, and a couple days later I got it worked great. I sold it for $500. So the flipper inside of me is always there. Pellet stove wasn't really the best idea for this. I just didn't want to burn my personal supply for my house and have to worry about those things. We just picked up this Ashley wood stove, and then we're hoping to heat the whole place with that. I know a few people asked why I didn't do propane or oil. I just don't like to have to spend more money. Resources like pellets and wood are more, cheaper for me because I can harvest it right here, or I can purchase pellets fairly cheap. So I could have probably bought more pellets for the pellet stove. Again, we kind of put up plastic to kind of keep the heat in. It just was not a very good idea. It was kind of a quick cut on a problem that should be solved with insulation. So, yeah. So with the shortage of building materials and getting insulation and doing the right job for, a metal warehouse, I guess, so to speak, it all takes time. So our focus more is to hurry up. We have a couple weeks of 60-degree weather, which is weird, bring on global warming here in the Arctic and Maine. So we're going to really focus on trying to get this a good, sure area, cleaned up area, organized area. As you can see, it's not. We've just spent a week of just kind of throwing orders together and throwing inventory together. We really need to spend a couple of days and organize a lot better and maybe sweep the floor. So in regards to the garage door, we definitely need to, I hate garage doors, never put them in. I have no idea how to do it. I built a company, so I'm sure I can figure out a garage door. It's just a headache. It's a headache. It's a headache. It's a headache. And trying to figure out where it needs to go and how it go there. Or I'm at the point where I just want to seal the whole thing off with plastic and call it good enough. So that's currently what we're at. Seal it all in plastic and call it good enough. Definitely doesn't look cool. Definitely doesn't look good from the outside. So trying to keep things look clean, cut, and I don't know. Yeah, clean and cut. Take a look around. All right, I have one last thing I want to talk more about the diesel parts, and I'll show you one cool find in just a few. So yeah, buying diesel engines, diesel parts. So these injectors are they're about $300 to $500 refurbished. They're selling used, working for about $200 to $300. So, refurbished price is about, actually, I don't know, probably about 400, 500. Yeah. So, they're selling used right out of the engine for $200 to $300. Usually in most diesel engines, there's about 6 cylinders, so you do the math. Some larger cat engines are 8. You might say that you don't know anything about diesel engines. To be honest, I know what a diesel engine is. I know some of the names. I know some of the models. I don't know how to take these out. This is the first time I've ever taken those out. A 5-minute YouTube video educated myself. I educated my problems about these engines on YouTube. And of course, those kind of things can be trial and error. But I purchased this whole engine and transmission for $400. All the parts on it are extremely valuable. The turbocharger over there is selling for $500 to $1,000. The alternator is selling for $100. This whole engine head is selling for $1,000. The ECM, the wiring harness is selling for $400. The ECM is selling for $300. If you had a calculator right then and there. Plus the transmission's got 2 PTOs on it. Those are $500 a piece. We currently haven't really got much of this listed yet, so it's just taking it apart, getting it inventoried, and throwing out the rest. Well, not throwing it out, bringing it to the junkyard and getting some money back. So we've been busy, and so currently some of our returns are lately of purchases have been this. So we've been actually doing a little more purchasing. So underneath there is some inventory of some broken old 4-wheelers. They all got parts on them that are worth money. There's a rototiller that needs to be listed. My personal G10, I'm totally keeping it. I just fixed it. It was for a flip. Best $100 I ever spent. It's got a PTO and a rototiller, and it's awesome. I'm going to keep it. So right there is another investment that was probably not the wisest investment. It was a VW diesel engine, and I could part it out like I just explained with DT466 huge tractor trailer truck engine here. I did purchase that one. I pulled it out of the junkyard. I paid $100 for it. Did run. I heard it run. Of course, those are all factors, when you're purchasing large things like this, you have to know. I do have a mechanical background. I did sell the flywheel and torque converter for what I paid for the engine. I'm not worried about that. I just thought this thing would sell a little quicker, and it probably didn't. So definitely at this point have no overhead with it, but I think I might put it on Marketplace or try someplace other than eBay. I do have the complete wiring harness. It is a 4-cylinder diesel with not really high miles, so it should be a pretty hot item. It should be like having a NES Nintendo during Christmas time. So, oh yeah, and thank you to father-in-law. We're preparing to increase the business. So he dropped off a 48-foot box truck for me. So we're definitely going to move forward in growing the business. Not sure if that's going to stay right there. Not sure where that's going. Not sure where we're going with this. So we're definitely going to grow. We don't know how we're going to incorporate everything. Storage. As you can see, my eBay warehouse is already kind of pretty, it's getting filled up. So I think in another 6 months, maybe a couple months, we could probably be completely filled. I want to utilize the upstairs. Going back to it needs to be insulated. We need to work on the warehouse. Yeah. So we got tons of things to do, and I'm very excited to share with you what direction we're going and where we're going. Currently, we're making the switch right now with eBay, PayPal, eliminating PayPal, and switching over. We dragged our butts because we like that system. We don't like change. So I gave my employee the day off, or kind of said, just take it slow, whatever, and we're going to straighten out paperwork today, get orders out, and maybe do a little bit of sourcing. Just a little bit. Not that I have a diesel engine I need to finish tearing apart and get it out of my yard. So here to make you laugh, here to teach you something, and I'm glad you're here following my journey and nothing else. Ben, in 2 years, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're very happy. Maybe. I hope. Have a good one, folks, and stay safe.